Hey, what's up? This is Jason Kirk here for Odds Checker. Let's keep picking some bowl games. It's time for New Year's Day picks. I'm gonna try and do one pick per bowl, even if there's one of these where picking a winner by any amount is a little daunting. Start off with the easy one that we have already selected in a previous video: Cincinnati +7 against Georgia in the Peach Bowl. A few matchups I like here. We have a strong Cincinnati pass defense against a promising Georgia passing game under JT Daniels that it hasn't really been tested yet. So we'll get to see if it is actually as worthy of 2021 hype as we think it might be. The other side of the ball, Desmond Ridder is an efficient passer for the Bearcats. He has avoided mistakes. And that is largely fine with Georgia because they like to sit back and allow those short throws and clamp down on the big stuff. A thing that could be a factor here is that could complicate Georgia's usual mode of operation is Ridder can run, averaging more than twice as many yards per carry as any quarterback Georgia's faced thus far this year. Bo Nix is probably the most mobile guy they have faced. And Ridder's about, he's averaging 7.3 yards per carry. And he doesn't tend to get sacked a lot, which is often a concern for mobile quarterbacks, only about once per game. So, granted, that was against defenses nowhere near as good as Georgia's, but it could still be a little bit of an equalizer for Cincinnati as they look to show the world that they should have been in the playoff. So, a lot riding on this game for Cincinnati motivation-wise. Next up, Northwestern Auburn Citrus Bowl. We're going with the under here. It's at 45. Really wanted to pick Auburn even straight up against the money line, especially once the line moved across 3 points. Auburn has far more talent, looks better to many of the computer power ratings, and I think coach effect is often overstated. The idea that teams will struggle in bowl games without their head coaches after Gus Malzahn's exit, but it's often not the case for a variety of reasons. Sometimes players just want to enjoy a distraction after a month of drama. So I wanted to pick Auburn, but I always want to pick them against Northwestern. It usually doesn't go all that well. Everyone does. It's always the logical play. But this team breaks logic. They never look awesome, but they always cover. And these days they usually win. 7-1 against the spread this year. Number 1 in the Power 5 against the spread over the last six seasons. It's just, for whatever reason, this team does what it does. They're going to play obnoxious defense, do nothing in particular on offense. Auburn's going to make one extremely bonkers mistake you've never seen before at the very end. And for that reason, predicting the outcome of any Auburn game is foolish. It's just going to get dumb. Let's just stick with the under. They're both better at defense than at offense. I'm not sure Auburn gets better at offense without Gus Malzahn. So, and again, at least 80% of each team's games this year have gone under. So when they collide, perhaps we get a super under. Next up, Notre Dame, Alabama playoff. The Irish getting 20 points. That's a big number. It's Bama. Bama's extremely likely to win the game, but that's a big number. 40-21 with a garbage time touchdown would get it done for us. My hope for Notre Dame cover in this game is Ian Book is probably going to have more time to throw than he had against Clemson. Bama's defense is great, but not super all-time Nick Saban defense great, particularly in the pass rush. They've given quarterbacks time to throw. Notre Dame can breathe on offense at least a lot more than they could against Clemson. Unlikely to keep pace with Bama for all that long, but all we're looking for here for this cover is a few extended drives, shorten the game, score a couple times. That'd be nice. Notre Dame's defense, also usually strong on first and second down. Maybe we can make Bama work for it. Have a couple extended drives, shorten that game, keep it within 20. And finally, Ohio State +7.5 against Clemson on the other side. This is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It's a strange season. Ohio State's only played a small handful of games, so we don't really know what to make of them. But, I mean, if anyone came up to you and said, I will give you more than a touchdown with the Buckeyes in any game against any opponent, you just say yes, no matter the season, no matter the opponent. Yeah, Clemson's probably going to win. if it was a straight up pick, I'm taking Clemson. If it's Clemson by 3 or 4, probably taking Clemson. But Ohio State with more than a touchdown against anyone, I'll roll the dice on that. They're getting back a lot of guys they were without in the Big Ten championship. So should be a lot better than they were against Northwestern. It still feels like a risk. Obviously, we know very little about Ohio State other than look at all the recruiting stars. They make a lot of big plays. They allow a lot of big plays. They get sacked a lot, which is very scary against Clemson. Um, this is basically just it's Ohio State getting a big number. So shrug, take it, and that's it. Those are New Year's Day picks for us this year.